This conference will now be recorded.
Call this meeting to order. Well, welcome everybody here. Thank you all for being here tonight. We'll get started. You'll stand, please remain standing. We'll start with pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Caldwell, yours.
God, as always, we thank you for bringing everyone here safe this evening. We pray that this will be a meeting that will things done that they need to be done, that have to be done. All things will be done in ways that will honor you and glorifying to you and to this entire town. And we pray this prayer to you in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen.
We'll have a moment of silence for our neighbors who passed away, Delvin Huffstetler and Charles Harris. All right, thank you. Please have a seat. Check your phones. Make sure you got your ringers off. And at this time, I'll ask any of the commissioners if there's anything on the agenda they have a conflict of interest with, please let me know. And with no conflict of interest, next we will have Commissioner Platania. Did not make it this evening, so I'll entertain a motion to excuse his absence.
Make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Next up, the adoption of the agenda as it is.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Public comment. We do not have anybody sign up for public comment. Email or anything. Moving right along. Here's the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
Okay. All in favor? Next up is a veteran services presentation from Mr. E. Smith. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So in full disclosure, I'm actually the newest resident here probably of Cape Carteret. We just closed on a house in Quail Acre Woods, Quailwood Acres, something like that. So I'm happy to be here. Came from the mountains, so I've just been in Carteret County for about 3 months. Took over the Veteran Services Director position for the county. I'm sure all of you are well aware, we've got a big veteran population here. We're right adjacent to a lot of military installations, and I think a lot of folks see the beauty of this area and want to stay there after their military service, so that's what I'm telling myself. Our office, the lion's share of what we do is going to be all monetary benefits when it comes to the VA. So service-connected disability, non-service connected pension. We help veterans access health care. We help with some discharge upgrades. We're sort of the gatekeeper, may not be the right way to say it, but when a veteran discharges from the service, they're usually going to end up in our office to meet with one of our veteran service officers. This is probably not a surprise to anybody. A lot of folks, when they get out of the military, they want to be as far away from government as possible. But then they usually end up coming back into our office. A lot of folks that we see, multiple deployments to Afghanistan, Iraq. The lion's share of the folks that we still help are sort of Vietnam era veterans. Being sort of a retirement community. I'm speaking out of turn a little bit. I'm just 3 months into here, but it seems like we have a big retirement population too. And so we see a lot of Vietnam era veterans, a lot of them needing help with all those conditions linked to Agent Orange. We dabble in pretty much everything that the VA does. So anytime a veteran is in need of anything, they're usually going to come see us. Going back to that retirement population that we serve, we see a lot of widows and dependents of veterans too. They'll come through our office needing assistance too. That's sort of the cut and dry of it. I don't know, what else to really say. The biggest thing anytime I talk to folks is it's still, unfortunately, in 2026, a word of mouth game. Folks don't know we exist, especially our veterans that aren't too tech savvy. They don't know folks like us exist. And our only job in this process is to advocate for the veteran and their dependent. We don't work for the VA. We strictly work for that person that walks through the door to see us. So the best thing anybody here can do, if you know a veteran, anybody that could use our assistance, please send them to us because, like I said, our sole purpose in life is to advocate for that veteran walking through the door. I'm going to leave some of my information.
Where's your office?
Oh, we are now on the beautiful community college campus. So got a nice little water view from our office. We're at 3615 of Rendell, right across from the hospital. So we're essentially located, maybe not for the folks down east in our county. We've got a pretty long county apparently. But yeah, we're pretty centrally located right there on the community college campus. Yeah.
Are you Hank Goddard's replacement, more or less?
There was one between myself and Hank, and I heard really good things about Hank. I haven't met Hank. I heard really good things about Hank. Yeah, and I'll try to fill those daily. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
I would just like to thank you. I had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Heath, and I have a couple of teenagers that are conflicted about what they want to do. And so I sent one over to you, and he was very encouraged, and you gave him some really good advice. I think life-altering advice, actually. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't know what I did, but I'm happy to help him any way I can.
I know.
So,
He was
yeah.
like, it was a 30-minute appointment, and you turned into an hour.
That was a
him.
good conversation. I was glad to talk to him. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you
we
know,
appreciate
he'll
that.
figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you. And due to having a first grade, I'll probably excuse myself.
Yes,
if that's okay.
I
yeah.
understand.
I'll left some of my stuff there. I'd be happy to help anybody y'all come across who constituents.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next up, presentation from the NCDOT representative on Plan 24 and 58 intersection improvements.
Hi. My name is Kathy Hossack. I'm with DOT. I did have a presentation. Just a couple of slides, nothing major.
Can you raise the?
I can, sorry. Height. So my name is Kathy Hossack. I work out of Greenville. I've been the project engineer for about 4 years on this project. So we just wanted to come and reach out and tell you where we are. Well, we're pretty close. Yeah, show everyone.
We're IT.
Oh, that's fine. All right, so you want to do the slideshow? So again, like I said, Kathy Hossack. Oh, I know. I've never used one of these. I know. I'm pretty good with my technology, and so like, let's see. Okay, is it the other way? Ah, all right. So first of all, I wanted to get down to the purpose and need. So one of the reasons why this project came around was because we needed to improve mobility on this intersection, and we also needed to increase storage capacity. Overall, when they looked at the project, there was a deficiency in the capacity of the intersection. Now, the intersection I'm talking about is NC 58 and NC 24. I think it's McLean on the one side and Cedar Point on the other side. So I think we all know where it is. Yeah, I became very aware of this little intersection. Okay, so these are the project limits. So it looks like it goes a little further, and that's just because of, number one, we have to upgrade the intersection, the signal. And when we have a signals normally want to talk to each other. So what we had to do is we had to improve the signal at old NC 58 as well. So that's why we had to go through that whole corridor. Now, if you look at it, we've basically got a turn lane that comes off from Emerald Island, goes up to Cedar Point, and we've got a turn lane that goes down from McLean. And you have to excuse me because my accent is a Pilater. Am I correct?
Very close.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Yeah, we have in South Africa, I'm a South African, by the way, we've got grass instead of grass. So it's always interesting. So the timeline for this project. Okay, the original scoping was done in December 29th, 2019. Public participation was done also in 2019. We did right-of-way, and right-of-way started in June of 2021. And this project is going to be let June 2026. So right now, we're basically going through the process of reviewing the plans and everything. We're going to go to advertisement, and June 16, 2026 is when we start basically letting the project. Now, we wanted to accommodate summer traffic and everything else. So the date of availability will be the 10th of September, 2026. So hopefully that summer traffic is out of the way before the contractor starts. And completion is going to be May the 15th in 2028. Now, what we do is after that, we allow for vegetation and everything else. So the timeline will be final project complete with punch lists and everything else done is in November. So I wanted to give you guys just an idea of the costs. As you can see, it adds up very quickly. Engineering is about 1.75 million. Right-of-way was about $67,000. Utilities, we basically had to move a water line, so that added up to 825, and a little bit of gas movement, and then construction. Right now, I'm estimating at about 12.72. We have seen prices come in higher, but I'm only going to know that by June. All right, and
Are you planning on any escalation in the construction costs?
I beg your pardon, sir?
So are you planning on any escalation in the construction costs?
Well, I mean, when we get the bid in, we'll know. I mean, we normally do have, when we do our estimates, we basically work on an escalation anyway. We normally add about 10 to 15% in. So that price that I've got there has already got that escalation in.
Is that per year or per project?
It's per project. But the thing is, like I said, I'll know exactly what the cost is going to be on June the 16th. So is there any questions? One thing that we will do, we are going to have a public meeting because once we know who the contractor is, because we want to like show people how the project's going to impact them. Understand one thing, during construction, you're going to maybe have a reduction in travel lanes, but I mean, the whole intersection is going to be open. We are looking at boring under the road, so there's going to be no open cuts and everything else. So you're going to be able to travel through the intersection. It might be a little slower, but you're still going to have that movement.
About what time is the public meeting?
I was hoping to do it in in August, but we haven't put down a date yet because we're sort of waiting until we can get the contractor, and then we want to speak to the contractor, review the traffic plans, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So right now we're planning in, like I said, the middle of August. But I will basically speak to your town manager and everything else, and we'll put out blasts and everything else. So yeah, we've seen that, like when we go out to communities, especially during like just before construction starts, it just makes it so much easier because then people know exactly what's going to happen, how lane reductions are going, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. So we tend to want to do that anyway.
Is there a map printed somewhere online or something that we can have a copy of? I can't see them, all those details.
Okay.
And I never heard of this before, so I don't know what the purpose of it is.
We don't have a map, but we can get you one. The project wasn't, in terms of DOT's history, that big that we basically have its own dedicated website. It depends on each project and everything else. And like I said, it's to improve mobility. This project started through the RPO. It started, it must have been 2000, before that, right? Because,
13, 14.
yeah. Yeah, so it's been pushed, and so it sort of came onto NCDOT's books by 2019. So it's been at least,
Well, I've been coming to meetings ever since 2013,
yeah.
so I've been just one.
Well,
But what's the purpose of it?
basically, there's a whole lot of like backing up on the intersection. So what we do is by having slip lanes, we allow for storage so cars can actually sort of like stand behind each other, and then there's still movement within the intersection. So it's just to give that extra capacity on the intersection.
That's the 24 and 48.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What about that circle that's supposed to be up on Taylor and Olson?
You told me. Yeah. So I asked Len, I said, okay, so if I come here, what questions must I anticipate? So it's not my project, but he did forward me. So I did speak to the project manager. We're right now in utility phase. So we're busy looking at utilities, and we are scheduled to let in September 2026. Did you have additional information on that?
Yeah, it'll be let in September. It's going to be available to a contractor who gets it in January, and we're going to have 120 days to complete it.
Yes.
So hopefully for summer, around Easter, it can be completed.
Yes.
That 58 and Taylor and Olson. I have a friend that I play dominoes with. She went for the first time to the library and went to that intersection to go home to Emerald Isle. She said, I'm never going to go there again.
Oh,
Because when you come out, you're heading a little bit north,
yes, ma'am.
and you're supposed to be monitored left. It's difficult
Okay.
the way it is right now. And that's the people that live on that side, you know, we're pretty obligated to go just do it. There's not a lot of changes and opportunities.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
Where was the acquisition? Where was the right-of-way acquisition?
Okay. We had, I gotta remember. We had a little on Bogey Sound. And I'm trying to look at the plans right now, and I'll give it to you. And then that's the property that's next to Bojangles. So we did a little bit of right-of-way acquisition there. And then I think where the McDonald's is, we got a little bit over there. We didn't have a lot of right-of-way acquisition. It was just those little bits and pieces that we had. Yeah. We literally try to minimize who we impacted with the project. Any other? Yes, sir?
When are we planning on seeing another bridge to replace our 50-year-old bridge that was only 25 years and we're spending millions of dollars putting Band-Aids on it? I know it's not your project.
I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, what happens is I get given the projects, and then so I work on those projects. We can maybe find out.
That was put into the CTP that you guys went through fast forward on the 5 years. So there's documented that is a need. It's got to be put into the RPO to go through the STIP process to get funded, but it is an identified need.
So at least it's out on the table now and not buried.
Yeah, that's why I bring Lynn.
Oh, I know, Lynn.
Are there any other questions? All right. Well, I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We appreciate the update.
Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the Sarah James Fulcher Foundation Playground. Mr. Fulcher, thank you for being here, sir. Thank you, guys. Y'all ready?
Thank you guys for letting me come up here and talk to you. I'm James Fulcher. I'm here on behalf of the Sarah James Fulcher Foundation. We created this foundation almost 9 years ago in memory of my daughter, after she passed to keep her memory alive. And we build playgrounds. Our mission statement is actually to improve inclusive access to all the resources that we have around here. The national resources, just getting people outside, if nothing else. We contribute a lot to beach wheelchairs for the Atlantic Beach Fire Department. We're big supporters of the adaptive surf project that we do around here. We build custom surfboards and stuff for them. And we also build playgrounds, which is what we're hoping to do for you guys. I actually just got off the phone with the gentleman and it is ordered today. You guys should have a playground about 40 by 40. It has all kinds of slides and everything that you could possibly want on it. It'll probably be about 3 or 4 weeks before it's delivered. But once I get a better timeline on that, I'll make sure that Mr. Gene is aware of that. The only thing we want is just to come here and get to slide down the slide on it when you're done.
I'll help you up when you fall down.
All right.
By the way, I love your drum tournament.
Thank you. Thank you. It's August 7th. This will be the 9th one.
I want to see if there's a fellow commissioner that wants to go.
Yeah, we'll treat you good.
I want the 50-inch jackpot. I broke it 2 times at Oakwood this spring, but it was.
That'd be a good, I would love to hand you a big check.
Wrong time.
Would love to. But that's really all I had. I have nothing formal. If y'all have any questions for me or any input, concerns.
I just think it's awesome, sir. Everything you're doing, the foundation's just amazing, and I appreciate you bringing something to our small town. Very honored.
I appreciate it. I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people that live in these neighborhoods and I'm excited for their, so
All right. Thank you,
appreciate all y'all.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
I talked to Dan about it, some of these, because I was really that excited. Is there any way that we may be able to put some little walkway through between the 2 pieces of property for her daycare children to use the facility?
Yes, sir. I think if y'all want to do that, that's something we can certainly do. I think we can do that with our staff as well.
Make a nice little mulch path. I know where some mulch is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Close by.
They're very close by.
Very close by.
And it's free.
Yeah. I hate James slid out. I just wanted to thank them again. They're such a good foundation and good hearted in everything they do. And yeah, so really excited they're here in Cape Carter. I worked on a couple of projects with them at the county and I've got nothing but glowing things to say about the whole process. So.
Town's very fortunate to have.
Yes, we are.
I want to thank you, Gene, for reaching out and getting the process started too. So couldn't have done it without you.
That's right, Gene.
Microphones,
What? Is that better, Doc?
yeah, much better. I like to hear what I, you know, I'm coming to sit and watch, go home and watch it on the computer.
All righty. Next
Make
up is
reruns
the
better?
next up is a presentation of the 26-27 recommended budget. Take it away, Gene. You got it? Clicker.
I have no clicker.
You didn't take it with you.
No. Next item.
She's getting her steps in today.
Like she hasn't walked enough today, right?
So I'm gonna run through a budget presentation with you pretty quickly. As y'all know, because we met individually on this budget and met as small groups, we've had a budget session with all of us in the room. And I kind of got my marching orders from y'all and the vision from y'all on what you wanted to see this year as far as a budget. And a lot of that was, no increase in taxes. So the budget this year, fund balance remains really strong. We're almost $2 million in fund balance, which is 81% of our total operating budget, which y'all are to be commended for. That's a lot of years of effort in getting there and getting in that position. So that's just attributed to y'all and you're being fiscally responsible. As I mentioned, we remain at 14 cents. That was the tax rate that y'all adopted last year from the 21 cents. So post reevaluation went to 14 cents. And this budget, the recommended budget before you, maintains that 14 cent. That said, it's not project heavy. We met and talked about some vision and things that y'all wanted to do in the future. And without outside funding sources, us going and looking for grants and other funding, this budget's just not project heavy, right? So if we maintain that 14 cent, there's not a lot of money to go out and do great big initiatives with. Does not increase staffing levels. You'll see your budget format is very different this year. Jeff and I work very, very closely together on this. We want it to be an exceptionally transparent budget, one you could hand to anybody. They could read it, kind of tell you what it said. It does include a capital improvement plan. That's not something that we've had in the past. You'll see that. We all went over this both during our budget session as well as individually. The mayor and I met with everyone and went over the capital improvement plan, kind of a roadmap of where we're going in the future. It kind of tells us what expenses we're going to incur if we want to keep this level of service and improve the level of service. And it does identify priorities for staff to work towards in the next year. One of the things that we really wanted to do is make sure that all of our staff had a vision that kind of aligned with yours, so that as we went out and looked at funding sources, we knew where we were going. So that's very important for the staff as well. Total projected revenues are very similar to this current fiscal year, slightly higher, 2.4 million. Property tax, it's made up of property tax, $1,045,000, sales tax, which is just over $500,000. Franchise tax is 157, 7%. ABC is 7%. Then we have other fees that be that your boat ramp fees, your zoning, rent, the investment the interest we earn on our investment income, golf cart. It's various and sundry other small fees to make up your total projected revenues. Your expenditures, they're fairly flat from last year. So we did all we could to keep that very flat. Some things are what they are, cost escalations and other things. It does include 2.5% COLA for the employees, as well as the employee wellness program that y'all mentioned as a priority in our budget planning sessions. Health insurance is the biggest outstanding question we have. We met with our insurance group today, had a good meeting with them. I think we found a way forward on that fits within our budget, fits within what's recommended to you here. But being a small group, so we only carry 8 employees on our health insurance. We have no buying power. I'm making this very simple. We have no buying power. So where we had anticipated a 15% increase in insurance, and that's what we've been told for the last several months, and that's kind of what we budgeted towards when we got our renewal. It was right at 39%. We're not the only town experiencing this. So other towns, I've talked to other managers in the area, they're experiencing the same thing. The difference is, again, when you're only carrying 8 employees, you've got no buying power, right? So we're going to have some modification to that. We're reviewing all of those plans to make sure we get the best deal for our employees and make sure that it's something that fits them and suits our town. So we're very close to having that worked out. So that's coming to a head very quickly. We will create a capital project ordinance for the Bayshore Marina. We talked about the 9 permanent slips, the 1 slip down there. That'll come in a capital project ordinance. Once we have a permit in hand, you'll see that capital project ordinance. Because that project is liable to span multiple fiscal years, that's the cleanest, most transparent way to do that. So y'all will see that in the future. You did already vote to go ahead with the project, so that's that. But this is just cleanup on the budget side. And it includes all the necessary expenditures to maintain the level of service that we've had this year. So at 14 cents, that's what it does. It keeps the lights on. It keeps us trucking along. Quick chart. I know everybody loves charts. So this is just expenses as percentage of your budget. You can see your salaries and benefits are the majority of your budget. The debt service is 6%, it's very small, and other operating expenses are 32%. This compares last year's budget to this year's budget. You can see that across the board it's very level. Parks and Rec, with the purchase of the boat ramps, the only one that's really elevated. Everything else looks just as I've described it to you in all of our meetings. It's a very flat continuation budget. Percentage by department, you can see police. Our police is our largest portion of the budget, followed by admin, and then you get into public works. You can see the other small percentages of our budget there. Capital improvement program. This was, and I appreciate everyone's effort towards getting this in place. Again, when we get ready to adopt it, I'm asking you to adopt this as part of your budget, so that it's codified, right? So you've got something that we know we're looking for. We know we need to do these things. It's a very, very slim capital improvement plan. And I want to point out that we've not had one in years prior. And it's also,
never.
yeah, right, never. But it's also a living document. So next year, whenever we start talking budget again, we fully intend that we're going to modify that plan, right? So priorities change, things change. And so we'll look at that again next year as to what we need to focus on. As I mentioned earlier, gives the staff a focus where we need to be directing our efforts, not just me, but all of the staff where we need to be directing our efforts. And it really does buffer us from surprise expenses. Everybody knows what's coming up, what's on the horizon. Moving forward, so if there's anything that's not captured, again, I'll reiterate, this is a very, very tight budget. And my budget message to y'all, I think it includes all of the things. So a lot of this is going to be staff intensive, stuff we can do in-house this coming year. I mentioned healthcare cost, which is coming to a very, very close end here. We're bringing that to a head in the next day or two. And if there are no questions, we can hold our budget public hearing and look for adoption on June 8th. I'll be glad to take any questions you have.
Awesome job. I'm just going to say that, Gene.
Gene, there's a lot of hard work that you put into that. It surely shows.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We did have a date set aside if y'all felt the need to do a meeting. I don't personally think we do for May 21st, but if y'all have a consensus, we can just go ahead and do as he recommended, put it on the notice for public, and we'll make it so in June.
It's whatever.
Okay.
It
All
won't
right.
cost us any more money if we do it the same night.
Yes, sir.
We've been a very fortunate town, I tell you, since I became mayor. It's like every year I'm like, well, next year we may have to raise taxes, and it's been very fortunate. Since I've been mayor, we've actually lowered taxes twice. So
just in addition to that, I'd like to reiterate that I said this last meeting, so for the people that weren't here, there are 553 municipalities in this state. 25% of them are on the fiscal bad boy list. Not this town. And for the first time in almost 70 years, we have a plan going forward. So I think that reflects a lot on the town manager and the employees in this town. A lot of work.
Said that.
all right. Well, thank you, Dean.
Yes, sir.
Next up is a consideration of hourly police department rates for private events.
So this is a draft policy I'm bringing before you tonight. The police department did a really good job putting this together, Brian and his staff. So the long and the short is from time to time, we have events here in town, and I'll use the truck show that was here this weekend as an example. And we've got,
Was that Mac Daddy's?
It was, yes, sir.
Slam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't even know a thing about it.
So we have events like this, and we've got the special event process, and which is a good process. It's not intensive, but it does give us as staff and you as commissioners kind of a heads up on what's coming up, what's on the radar. One of the most important things we can do when we have extra people in town holding an event is plan for that and plan for public safety. And so this policy before you tonight, we don't have a mechanism for those folks that are coming in and putting an additional burden on our police department to bear the cost of that burden, right? So right now we would have to schedule more police officers. And as you saw in the budget presentation, we're working on a very slim margin here. And so this last one, they were able to contract through the sheriff's office to hire 2 additional deputies to help with traffic control. So this policy, if you see fit to consider it, this policy would allow for, and it's not really off duty, it's extra duty, right? So that they would contract with the town would pay the employee. The town would pay the employee. They wouldn't be paying our employees directly. which is important for liability reasons, right? So they would have all the same protections they would have if they were working for us. We would pay that employee time and a half for any extra duty like that. And we'd be compensated at $60 an hour for that. I'm glad to take any suggestions you have on this policy or any input you have. Like I said, I just thought it would be something good, and Brian thought it would be something good to have in place. It would compensate our employees for doing this, and also compensate the town if there was a need for, we need 4 officers on duty all the time, and our guys have worked all week. It's a burden, so we want to compensate them for that. So,
Any comments, Chief?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Okay.
yes, sir.
It's $60. What does it cost us per man for everything that they have on their bodies? Is $60 too cheap?
So I think $60, and I looked at this after Brian and his staff studied this, so they did a really good job. When they brought it to me, it was a pretty solid proposal, right? And I'm teasing Brian now for just a second. I always look at these things and a reason to pick them apart when he brings me things, or and anybody, what's wrong with it? What questions am I going to be asked about this? And when I looked at $60, between $50 and $70 is really the going rate, right? So if you're paying one of our officers time and a half, you're talking about between $35 and $40 an hour. So for the use of our car, for the use of the equipment, for the use of everything else, you've got about $20 more on there per hour. We're burning our gas. We're doing those things. And so I feel like that compensates the town fairly. It also, we're paying for that insurance for that employee and all those things. So we felt like $60 was enough, but it wasn't burdensome on the person it wasn't prohibitive for them to contract at that point. But I'm certainly open to suggestion as far as we move on.
Chief, how would you feel about a minimum of 3 hours?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir. And it's in the policy, a minimum. Yes,
I
sir.
did see it. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If we're going to call our guys out on a Saturday, I don't want them to, and some of our officers live close, some of them live far. If he's going to drive here and work, we wanted to make sure it's worth his while.
Gotta love our police department.
What do you need from us?
Just a motion to adopt
Motion
it.
to approve
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
I'll make that motion.
You can. All right, so you're making the motion to approve? Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, next up is the Activities Committee. Eric was supposed to do that, but he couldn't be here tonight. I can just tell you, I was at that meeting, very impressed with the people that showed up for that and the citizens we have here that want to get involved and do the most important thing, which is go out and get money and hit these people to collect all the dollars and stuff. And I'll let Gene elaborate more on.
So we talked about it a little bit last month, and the Activities Committee is looking at the summer concert series, as well as more volunteers for Fall Festival, a fishing tournament in the fall for children, a fun fishing tournament. I'll be at, I think, the June meeting of the Onslow Bay Saltwater Club. They've asked me to come speak about that. So we're just trying to build some excitement around some of these events. We're going to do a movie night with the Girl Scouts. It's not labor intensive on our staff. But just fun community oriented events. So the biggest thing is sponsorship and raising money and having volunteers here. So
I'm working on we're going to call it a mayor's jam. I'll pay for everything. I'll provide all the equipment. And because we have so many musicians in the town, just giving them an opportunity to use this stage. So I'll try to do something maybe the second week of June. I'll keep you posted.
How's the stage looking, Ryan?
Looks good. I mean, it could use a little bit of attention.
Little TLC.
Cover would be nice. I'm trying to, hey, we haven't,
Anything
Excuse me.
we have a cover for.
I donated a cover.
I'm talking about a permanent structure.
Oh, well, that'll be coming. if you
There
want.
again, we get somebody else to pay for, sir.
Well, I'll work on it.
Hopefully we can shame Lowe's into donating some stuff.
No, don't shame Lowe's.
Don't shame Lowe's?
No.
Okay.
I inherited that under Zach. That's why you got what you got, not a half-ass job.
Any questions about the Activities Committee? If not, we'll move on to the Town Manager report.
So I'll be brief tonight, Mayor. I've talked enough as it is. I just want to thank the Sarah James Fulcher Foundation again. man, what a big lick for the town, and what a great organization to partner with. I'm super excited about that. One of the things that James didn't mention is the location. So we talked about this, and I've talked to all of you individually. We have that beautiful lot there at the front of our public workshop that's proximate to Star Hill, proximate to a lot of children in this town. And one of the things the foundation has typically done is they make that initial investment the first year. And then it's always the way they design things is expandable. So they're willing to partner with us for multiple years, which is really great. And we have a good site there. And Ryan and his guys have met with me out there, and they're willing to put in some of the grunt work and getting this stuff installed and maintaining it. And I couldn't be any more excited about that opportunity with a really solid foundation. The DOT mentioned the roundabout at Taylor Notion. I was going to mention that, but they kind of stole my thunder on that, so I don't really have anything else to say about that. That'll be a good project coming up. Just say boat ramp passes. We've seen an increase in sales. I think we're at 254 in-town passes right now as far as pass number, and about 52 on out-of-town passes. So boat ramp pass sales have been really successful this year. So that's all I have, Mayor.
All righty. Any questions for Gene?
Yeah. When's the Taco Bell CO?
So I went and met with them last week, and it's looking like somewhere around the first week of June, but that was a guess. So they were still in the throes of construction and trying to get subs to finish up things. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now.
So when are we going to have to come up with our other half?
So as
settlement?
soon as they have that CO, you may see a budget amendment for that in June. So
Just asking.
yes, sir.
Any more questions for Gene? All right, if not, we'll move on to commissioner reports. I'll start with you, Commissioner Martin.
Just wanted to point one thing out with the budget discussion. Stop before I could get this in to my colleagues here. In the past, we've had several boards that have put a capital improvement program in the budget. The problem is the next year, the boards don't want to have the discipline to adhere to that. So just a thought, because 9 times out of 10, a capital improvement plan will require a budget tax increase. People run from those words. I personally have been here 9 years. I've not had a single citizen complain to me about a tax increase. None. But just remember, we have tried that many times, but the discipline on the boards seem to, it's the first time in probably 3 years that it's been on the budget. So I love it. You got to start somewhere. But if you don't have the discipline to adhere to that plan, it's not going to get done. So that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, I think that reiterates the need to have the capital improvement plan feed into a comprehensive plan, which will hold everybody's feet to the fire. So, but even more exciting, I'm going to Pamlico on Thursday for my first garbage meeting. So if you can tell me where I'm going, I'd appreciate that. That's all I got.
Can we really tell you where to go, David? Come on now. I want to thank Ryan. I want to thank the police chief and the police force. I want to thank Mary Ann for being here tonight. Pax and Rob, good to see you here. Thank you to all the citizens. I love seeing the young people here. I don't know if you're looking for a job in the near future, but we're always looking for volunteers. Our former intern, Mikey, said to say hello to everybody. He's doing a bang-up job over in Emerald Isle. And other than that, that's all I got to report.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for their messages and prayers. My mother-in-law was having a heart procedure. She's doing well. Thank you. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And the students that are here, are you guys Croatan? All of you? Yes, ma'am. Well, I've had the pleasure of having being interviewed by one of your fellow classmates, and it was that AP government class. Is that the one you all got? Tell your teacher he's doing a great job. Had some good questions, made me think. But appreciate you guys being out here and engaging. And then, Marianne, Commissioner Marianne, thank you for being here and, staying engaged with our community and making things available for us when we ask. You've been on top of it. And I appreciate a lot of the tours and stuff. So I'm learning a lot. Thanks to you. And, Public Works, great job. Everything's looking great. No complaints out of me. So keep up good work. And thank you, Jean. It's been great working with you and all the citizens that have their little needs. You're like on top of it. I can give you a list and you're like, so I appreciate you. And thanks, Will. I know you're exhausted. And I think you've been everywhere.
Been everywhere
this
past
week.
year.
So thanks.
Thank
I
you.
hope y'all guys have a great week.
Once again, I'll echo everything everybody else said. Thanks for being here, Mary Ann, and thank you all for being here. I do have a little bit of bad news, and that's the fact that everybody on the planet realizes the zip code was a great idea, except for the Postal Service. So they turned us down. I'm not giving up. I think we just got to reach a little higher and get maybe some senators involved. So I'll be working on that. I don't know. They didn't really give us a reason why not that I'm aware of. So we'll see, but I'm working on that. I'm not going to let it get me down here again. Got to persevere and keep going on and hopefully get enough people involved. If I got to make a video, I will. But once again, I can't say enough about our staff, or everybody up here at Town Hall, or Street Department, Police Department, just to be the small town. I know y'all get tired of hearing this, but to be the small town we are, to have the services and the people we do is just awesome. It's tremendously awesome to be in this great little town. So great. Even our lawyer. Thank you. Great guy. Which, by the way, we are going to have a closed session for attorney-client privilege.
I have
So
one more question.
I'm sorry. Did you want to interrupt me
I
while I'm
did.
talking?
Do we have a planning board appointment to make?
Not tonight. I don't
Oh.
think.
So you don't have a planning board appointment to make, which is something I should, if you'll allow me 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll step back.
So we have a vacancy on our planning board. We would love to have somebody really good on our board. I can provide you with an application to that to provide the board. If you're interested in serving there, please see me or see one of the commissioners.
There you go. Is that it? Can I continue? Thank you. Anyway, I'll entertain a motion now to go into a closed session. Okay. Second. Thank you. All in favor? All right. Thank you all for being here tonight. Y'all have a great week.